Okay, hi everybody. Welcome back to I think this is episode 5 of Crafts Covens, a stitch along podcast with me, Blown Rose Studio. I have been having all these weird audio issues with I use Audacity, or I used to use Audacity to record my podcast. Basically, it's recording me at one frequency and then playing it back at another, so my voice sounds super 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 deep in the recordings, and it always I'm like testing, I'm like ready to roll, and it sounds so deep. And I know I sometimes can like have a deeper voice, but I was like, this sounds like a full grown man, so had to deal with that. We're back now. Meant to film this at like 2 p.m. It's 5. My undiagnosed ADHD, I guess is probably the proper way to say it. My undiagnosed ADHD really got the better of me today. So I took a PTO day. I'm going back to my family's house for Christmas tomorrow. I'm flying out, and I took a PTO day today just to prep the house, prep everything, pack, like get myself ready. And I usually wouldn't have, right? Like, usually I could be like, oh, I could catch a 7 a.m. flight the next day if I work this day, and then I could pack that night and it'll be fine. But I know that I was going to pull some bullshit because I know who I am. And of course, yeah, I was like, I don't have any good jean shorts that fit me, so I'm going to make, she's joined me on the couch now, Miss Annie Girl, my dog. So I made shorts today. I started the day. I woke up at 6 a.m. and I made fucking shorts for some reason because I was like, I don't have enough shorts for my trip and it's going to be hot because I'm from Hawaii, so I'm going back to Hawaii for Christmas. And I made these shorts and they didn't like fit right, so that took me until lunch. So now it's 12. Now I gotta feed everybody in the house. And I was running around like a headless chicken all fucking morning. Because it wasn't like fun sewing time. It was like, if I don't get this idea out of my head right now, I'm going to die, and that's the only way I can explain it. I was freaking the fuck out. I took my cortisol manager that my doctor gave me, and it didn't do shit. I was stressed as fuck today. It was not a fun sewing experience, but it did get done, and it does look cute. It's butch cute, but it's cute. These are like, I didn't mean to make these huge baggy. I wanted like a little, like an elastic waist, kind of like stretchy, like thinner denim short. But they're pretty baggy, they're pretty big, they're pretty balloony. Not exactly what I was going for, but I'm gonna rock with it. They are the Weekend Chore Shorts by Matchy Matchy Sewing Club. They're fucking giant, and I sized down, but I think I could honestly fit into an extra small, which, hey, I don't know if you're looking at the video. I'm not a giant, but I'm not an extra small, I'll tell you that much, you know? So, shouldn't be able to say that. But yeah, giant, huge, huge, huge pattern. They're meant to be very extremely roomy. I just did not know how roomy they were going to be. So that took a lot of time out of my day. But I did end up getting, I think they're cute enough. I'll update you on if I actually wear them. I hope I will on my trip. But yeah, I've had, bit of, the best way I can describe it is just like a fucking gender identity crisis directly on my birthday. I turned 24 and something in my brain did not let me breathe anymore with my gender. So, hey, friends, family, whoever's listening to this, this is such a fun way to come out. I've identified as non-binary in my head, at least, and like to my very, very, very close friends. Like, I don't even think my parents really know, but my very close friends, like my partner and like a best friend. Like, not like no one. It's just not something I'm very vocal about. But I'm actually out professionally, which is super fucking weird, and like academically. So in college, I use they them pronouns. I guess it's easier. They're like strangers and they're asking and they're being very respectful. And then professionally, if someone asks, I let them know. I'm like, she or they. They both work. Great. I've been a pretty feminine presenting non-binary person my entire life. Also, friends and family, if this is news to you, doesn't fucking change anything because I've identified this way. I've felt this way since I was 13, since I had a word for it. And probably before then, but I didn't have a word for it yet. So it really, truly does not change anything. I'm not expecting you to use any different pronouns or do anything at all. We're good, okay? Keep it rolling. Yeah, woke up on my 24th birthday. I've always been a pretty feminine presenting person. Not like ultra. I'm not the girliest of girls. I like a lot of more like masculine workwear fits. I always have. I've always felt more comfortable in that. Like kind of, but you know, I've always had like long hair and did my makeup and my nails and like been in that kind of feminine-ish bisexual fashion kind of like alt, that whatever that is, that's been fine for me up until I turned 24. And it's like I've never had a switch go off like this before. I don't know what the fuck happened when I woke up on my birthday. But I very suddenly was like, oh, I don't feel very comfortable. I was like, I was on a trip with my friends, and I looked at my suitcase and I went, who the fuck packed this? Like, girl Ruby packed this. Because I used to describe it as, I want to look like a girl but smell like a boy, so I'll have like cologne. Or I want to look like a boy and smell like a girl. So like when I went to see Weezer, did I wear my boyfriend's clothes because it felt more comfortable? Because I was feeling boy that day. This is just the words I used to describe it. Do not apply this to all non-binary people. Thank you. Or gender fluid people or anyone. I wore like my boyfriend's closet and then wore like my very, what fucking L'Oreal perfume is that? You know, like it's the very, very classic, very, very girly La Vie. It's not La Vie en Rose, but it's like, the girliest, sweetest. It's like a vanilla floral scent. It's very, very girly, and I liked wearing that with like the baggiest, most shapeless, fucking 90s skateboarder cartoon character outfit I could find, and that felt good to me. Hey, we've hit a point now where I'm like, what about if I just want to boy? And I've never hit that before. I've hit. What about if I just want a girl? You know, that's happened. You know, did I think I was going to be starting the podcast today with gender identity flying? No, but I think I kind of woke up on my 24th birthday. And I was like, hey, I feel like I've been in a costume for a little bit. I don't know if it felt like that during, like, at the time, but sometimes I look at my closet, I'm like, who is this? This is not me. So right now I don't know if this is, like, more of a gender fluid thing, where, like, some days I feel like girl, some days I feel like boy. I don't know if it's a non-binary thing, as in, like, I don't feel either, but I feel good dressing this way or that way. I don't have the language yet. I brought it up to my therapist, and I'm, like, trying to talk it through. She's actually actively talking me out of a bob, because I was like, I think I need to cut my hair. Like, my hair does not feel good right now, because it feels so feminine, you know? I was like, I think I need to get a bob. She was like, this feels really sudden. It's like, okay, girl. So you don't think I'd look good with a bob? Because I've been growing my hair out for a very, very, very long time. I cut it into like the bob-ish. I do it pretty much every like 3 or 4 years. And then a year after it'll be like, this is the worst idea ever. Never let me do this again. Then I do it again. So, and now my partner's been around long enough. I think we just went on 6 years. He's been around long enough where he's seen the cycle. You know, he's already been through a cycle of this. He's already been through that 3-4 year. He met me with the bob, and then I grew it out again, and then I cut it into a bob while we were dating, and now I'm back at bob. So, yeah, about a 3-year cycle, actually. That's real interesting. But anyway, therapist is trying to talk me out of getting a bob. I still think it'd look cute. Whenever I look back at pictures, I think, God, that's when my hair looks the best, is that kind of like collarbone length bob. And I feel like that's a lot more gender neutral than this like very, basically what's happening with my hair right now. I have huge, giant curly hair, and it's been really rainy, really wet, really humid. And it's been growing like in that triangle shape, like me doing the 303 symbol. If you're not watching the video. Hold on, let me just it's been growing in that triangle shape that everyone hates, and everyone with like curly, wavy, textured, coarse hair, I have very coarse hair on the bottom and kind of throughout, hates. Okay, and I've done the shag, I've lived the shag, I loved the shag. I'm not feeling shag right now. I'm not shag girl right now, because that's like, I don't know, to pull that off again, I don't have it right now. So I was like, okay, I want to do a little collarbone bob moment. But apparently I have quite a few people talking me out of that, Still might do it because that's the only thought that I've had that felt like freedom in terms of changing something outwardly to feel really good about like my gender expression. Like when it finally clicked where I was like, no, I'm gonna do that, and like kind of committed to it in my head. It felt really freeing and it felt like freedom. So I think I'm just gonna schedule a hair appointment in January after the holidays. And whatever I'm feeling then I'll get. So maybe I'll get like hella layers. I can't do whatever's going on right now is not working, okay? So maybe I'll get like hella nice long like 90s layers. And like really take weight out cuz like my hair is heavy and it gives me a headache. Or I might chop it all off because it always feels so healthy and so good. But actually maybe I'll keep it up this time because I don't like that I let it grow out. And then it's like that awkward grow out phase where it's like not touching your boobs yet, but it's like on top of them, you know? I hate that. Once you get past the nips, you're pretty much fine. But before that, between collarbone and that, it looks fucking awful in my opinion. On me. I'm not judging you, I'm doing me. So actually what I currently had on the podcast notes is current project. But I just need to go on a little gender identity bit, I guess. What are you going to do about it? Okay. Current projects. Made those shorts this morning out of nowhere. Super fun. Maybe I'll throw in some pictures if I got them. If not, hey, sorry. I also made... Oh, I should take pictures of this and post it soon. It's real cute. I made a denim pinafore. Oh, and I didn't say that my shorts that I made this morning were out of 2 pairs of jeans I got at the thrift store last night. And then I did a very similar thing where I had a pair of jeans that I was going to cut up and I didn't like. And then I bought another pair of jeans to make a like half and half denim pinafore for Thanksgiving that I wore on Thanksgiving. So I did that. And it was also something that I had to take a PTO day for before we started traveling for Thanksgiving to fucking finish that project because I started super late and I stressed myself out and I pull this bullshit every single time and I don't know what else to do. Okay. Those are the current projects. Those are the updates. Going forward, I really just need to finish whatever the fuck I started this year. Okay? 2025. The beginning of 2025 is going to be a bit of a redemption, bit of a let's just finish what we already started and then we'll move on. But I've really been enjoying working with denim. I've really been enjoying making clothing as opposed to quilts. I think quilts are just going to be going forward unless I can get like truly like my money's like, unless the timing, I mean, I'm not going to do everything for money, but if I'm going to be making stuff to sell them, it just has to be worth it for me. And I think I've said this before, but if you make and sell a quilt, we really should be charging like thousands of fucking dollars because like the amount of hours, years, like the materials, yeah, anyway, cost benefit analysis, not good for my time at all. And it's not sustainable if I want to start a little side hustle business thing going on. So I think going forward, quilts will only be for people I love. And maybe that's a good thing. Maybe it keeps it sacred. Or I'll do like, but also maybe I don't want to say that because I love making like little quilts too. But yeah, those kinds of big projects, big pieces like that, I think will just have to be reserved, unfortunately, for friends and family because it doesn't feel worth it to sell them. Until, I mean, I have this like pipe dream, of course, of like just being paid to be a quilting artist, and I get to, because I see quilts that sell for like thousands and thousands of dollars as like an art collector's item, not as like a home goods item, because charging thousands of dollars for a home good item, that's kind of a harder market to crack, I'm sure. But you know, like actually getting paid for what I'm worth and like getting to take that slow creative process, because I think there's a pressure for small businesses that I'm starting to feel, and I mean, I sold a couple things, so I'll take that. I guess I started my little side hustle, my little small business. But there's a pressure to like make things faster with less time, with less effort. Like, how much money can I make out of this? And yeah, I get that. I mean, that is smart for like sustainability's sake of just like getting not like sustainability as in like material sustainability, but sustainability as in like sustainability of your own energy and money and effort, right? Like to keep going. Because I mean, burnout is, it's creeping already, and I like haven't even done much except for like this podcast and but like yeah, I was like forcing myself to finish sewing for a really long time, and I'm still proud of it, and I still need that push to kind of finish parts of projects that I don't like to do as much, you know, like the actual quilting part or finishing a binding sometimes can be a lot for me. But I love like the piecing and the making of the top, right? So, and then there's outsourcing and all this other shit that we could talk about. But anyway, need to finish a lot of projects that I started last year. But also sometimes it's no fun to force yourself to do shit. I had a really not fun sewing day this morning. Like trying to understand this pattern, and I'm obviously have a lot of like neurodivergencies fucking going on. My brain's firing on all cylinders and I couldn't read. So that was super fun. I like actually couldn't read anything today and like intake information no matter how hard I tried. As my boyfriend described it, I was letting ADHD win. And I was like, letting? I don't have a choice. I'm at war and I'm losing. And I was trying really hard. I didn't even drink coffee today. I'm just fucking running, okay? So that's my current project. Current music and book obsessions. I guess we can talk about Spotify Wrapped, right? They fucked it up this year, right? Okay, so last year, I guess, this is what I heard. I don't know. I don't fucking work for Spotify. I don't know anyone who does, but at least I don't think I do. But I heard that the Spotify CEO got wind of AI and was like, all right, fire the Wrapped team. Fire, like, all these employees. We have AI now, right? Their AI service is like, getting worse. I don't know if you guys have looked at your, like, mixes recently, but it's all the same songs all the time instead of... I really used to like Spotify for their Spotify created playlists, and I used to think those are really good. And now everything's like a made-for-you playlist. I'm sure that you guys have seen it. But it's the same like 10 songs on the top of every single playlist, and it never matches the vibe or the genre. And I'm like, okay, I like these songs, but I've heard them. And Spotify's tendency to do that is now making me hate the music I like, which is no fun, okay? And then my Wrapped is like those 10 songs that they like chose, right? Except this year it wasn't. But I know that happened for a lot of people. But my Wrapped... I think okay, let me see. I got a screenshot here. I sent it to Kaya. Because the morning of Spotify Wrapped, my top artist was Pierce the Veil. I had a giant hyperfixation on Pierce the Veil last winter through, 2024. Okay, I have the screenshot. Here we go. Top artist, number 1, Pierce the Veil. Fair, right? I was honestly surprised it wasn't Panic at the Disco, because my Panic at the Disco hyperfixation went fucking crazy this year, dude. I mean, I was watching Live in Denver. This isn't even counting my YouTube views. I was watching Live in Denver on the daily like it was medicine. Like it was my insulin. Like it was it was my lifeline. The Live in Denver video means so much to me and inspired me in so many ways to create so many things. And I have these albums. Okay, a little bit of backtrack here. A little bit of an opening up. I have some crazy depressive episodes that happen. Whoop-de-woo. Who doesn't nowadays? But like, and when I was a kid, they were like much shorter, but now that I'm an adult, you get adult depressive episodes, which is something to look forward to. And one lasted 2 years, so I had one for 2 years. The album that pulled me out of it was, it's like music, like my lifeline over and over again. As I feel myself fading, I pull onto the one thing that gives me inspiration, gives me passion, and makes me feel heard, known, seen, right? As cheesy as that is, I don't really care. I like truly, I hate saying it because I know how it sounds, but like when I say these albums saved my life, that's what I mean. It's the only thing to pull me that I could listen to it, because when depression convinces you that everyone around you, doesn't really love you, won't miss you, all that kind of shit. The only thing that I could like really feel seen and heard by are the words of other people and like the shared experience and like not making me not feel alone, right? Very cheesy, very stereotypical, but for me that was intrapersonal. Is that the entire album name? Me not knowing it. It's fucking called Peripheral Vision. What am I on? I also missed tickets for this because they weren't playing up in NorCal, which was a fucking bummer, but I think they're putting out new tour dates soon. Also, I'm like 1,000% convinced. I'm like 75% convinced that I saw him at the Story so far the other week, because I know I think he lives in NorCal, the lead singer. Anyway, Peripheral Vision, can't say it. This album, right? I listened to it so much. It was my top last year. It was like all the fucking top 5 songs, like top artist, top everything. I think I was like their number 1 listener. Like I was not fucking around, okay? I listened to it every single time I had a back tattoo appointment. I listened to it every single time I needed to feel. I listened to it every single time I needed to get back in my body, because I would like dissociate for like, you know, the entire fucking day. And then I'd get in my car to drive home from work or whatever and be like, right, okay, yep, I'm a human, I'm here, like this. It just, every time I was going through it, that album brought me back to earth and kept me on this earth. And I can't really thank them enough. I really love that album. I really hope that they're going to play a NorCal date on that Peripheral Vision tour, because that means a lot to me. Me gonna cry over Turnover. They're not even on my top 5 this year. That's not what we're talking about. So number 2 is Panic at the Disco. Right, that's what... Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, so... Dude, I'm really losing my ADHD battle. I think I could get it diagnosed just if someone listens to this podcast. A fever you can't sweat out. Hey, got a tattoo for it. Inspired. Wrong one. I just have like a little circus lady in honor of. It also takes up half my arm, which I didn't know I was going to, but then the tattoo artist like put the stencil on. I forgot to tell him that I just wanted it like a, you know, like a palm-sized piece. It takes up my entire fucking arm, dude, and I was down, and I love it. Yeah, fever you can't sweat out. Holy shit, my hyperfixation on that, and on Ryan Ross in general. And then I was listening to the Young Veins a little bit. They didn't make my top 5. Pretty much any project he's ever done, hey, listen to it. Yeah, I had a pretty big hyperfixation on Panic at the Disco and Ryan Ross and his brain, right? His brain. Loving him. Hope he's doing well today. I'm pretty much heard fans have like pretty much confirmed that he's not going to be at When We Were Young, which is a bummer. But I bought tickets anyway, and I almost cried a little bit when I saw Panic at the Disco at the top of that headline. Also, Blink has been like one of my, you know, like throughout my entire life bands. And I've somehow never seen them, so I'm excited to see them too. But Panic at the Disco means a lot to me. God, it sounds so cheesy and it sounds so bad, but hey, you're listening to my fucking podcast, and I get to say what I want. And I want to talk about Panic at the Disco. Okay. Number 3 is MCR. Obviously. I'm also seeing them next year. Oh my gosh, she's dreaming. Baby dog is dreaming on the couch, if you can hear her yelping. Yesterday, she was wagging her tail during her nap, like in her sleep. She was so stoked on something in her dream. And it was so cute. All right. MCR. No surprise there, obviously. Okay. I finally finished my MCR cross stitch. What's up? I will hopefully also put a picture of that here if I remember. Okay. Number 4. The Story so far. That was also another artist that like during a larger depressive episode brought that fire back. You know, like a lot of their songs are like stuff to scream. And I did last week when I saw them last weekend. I screamed at the top of my lungs. I saw them pretty much 10 years ago and now. So I've been with them since not the beginning, but I saw them in Hawaii when I was like 14 or 15. maybe 15, 16. I don't know. Like about like 8 to 10 years ago. So I saw them then, I saw them now, and it felt the same. You know, I was still like getting my ass beat in the pit and like screaming at the top of my lungs, and like that kind of, when you have that fire brought back to you, it kind of like helps awaken, I don't know, it helps awaken me out of a depressive or more of like a stale state, you know. So another great band for like reawakening. Me talking about not the spirituality of the story so far. Not not me talking about how my spirituality is based on Pierce the Veil, Panic at the Disco, My Chemical Romance, story so far, and number 5 is Fall Out Boy. Old Fall Out Boy, obviously. Who do you think I am? I think Cork Tree was like, From Under the Cork Tree was my favorite album when I was 5. And then my top 5 songs were just like all from Pierce the Veil. It was Bulletproof Love, May These Noises, Tell You in Your Sleep. These are long ass emo titles, man. You can't hold me to these. Hold On to May, Bulls in the Bronx, Prompts of Mayhem. And again, Spotify Wrapped, I heard, was incorrect this year, so I don't know what it was actually supposed to be. I was kind of surprised that Pierce the Veil was at the top, although I had a pretty big, huge listen to that album every day type shit like I did with Turnover. But my Panic at the Disco phase was like a good 6-month stint. Pierce the Veil was like a 2 to 3 month stint, maybe 4 months. But I guess I was listening harder on YouTube. I guess Live in Denver really had me in a fucking chokehold more than it did on Spotify. Although we know it's wrong, but whatever. Other music stuff. I discovered EDM this year, just in time for Brat. So, what's up? Yeah, I actually, under my tree, which it's what my parents got me, but we share an Amazon account, so I got the delivered notification, so I know what it is. And it's also what I asked for, but I got a DJ controller, and I'm really, really excited to start DJing, because that's going to be new for me. Yay! Yay, so that's really exciting. Yeah, I'm going to start DJing. I discovered EDM. Maybe it was like more last year, but mostly through book club radio. It never really sat with me before, just because like culturally I didn't really get it. I've always been like an underground punk scene kid. I've always been like an emo kind of scene kid. EDM just never, like, I guess like I liked is it called happy hardcore, of like the scene kid era, right? I knew some of that from that, but I was always more emo. I always listened to bands. I didn't listen to like the EDM shit going on around there. Like, I don't know how you say it, like Searle and shit like that, right? I wasn't listening. I knew it, but I wasn't like, that's not what was on my that's not what was on my iPod Touch, if you put some respect on her fucking name. So I discovered EDM through book club radio, I think last year actually, but we're doing a little yearly wrapped of like what kind of got me into it. When I first moved here, that was one of the first shows I went to, was Tinzo and JoJo's set. But I got into EDM through book club radio because JoJo was the first one to put it kind of through an alt kid like context and mindset, and like incorporating like Talking Heads in there. I don't know if they've done New Order, but maybe I'm making that up, or maybe that's just something I want to do, but I feel like that was in there. There was a Cure song they put in there. They played that live when I was there, and I ascended, bitch. I ascended. It was so good. And then the Strokes and like all this, like from a context that I could understand for the first time, right? I didn't get, because a big thing with like any EDM stuff is referencing, right? And you kind of have to know it, and that's the same with like hip hop and stuff, although that's not totally my wheelhouse besides Beastie Boys. Yeah, finally with like references that I understood and felt seen by, and in a way that made sense in my brain. And then now I'm kind of doing my discovery, right? So like I feel like JoJo and Tinzo generally play house to start. That's been a really good intro. And that's been, I just like, again, coming from a pretty, like a more depressive state, just dancing feels so good. Like, I don't know. I feel like that could really be doing something, just like making people dance. And I would love to do that. And I grew up, you know, very obviously in the hardcore scene, playing music, playing drums, being very angry and letting that out. And I kind of want to, and I'd be happy to do that again, but I haven't played drums in many, many years. So I feel quite rusty. And I'm also, hey, I can admit when I'm not that talented at something, and it was more just coming from like sheer passion. But yeah, I kind of want to DJ a little bit and see how that feels, and like just have people dance, you know? Just have people dance, come together and dance. And I think that's, you know, in a time of so much pain and separation right now, not to get too political too fast, because I want to keep this fun, like a fun podcast this time. Although I'm never scared to get political, as I've said before. I don't know, you know who you're listening to my podcast. I can say whatever the fuck I want to say. I don't have no sponsors. I don't have no management. It's just me and a mic, baby. So really don't not expect that. But just in a time of so much pain and separation, really, in our country and in the world, it feels good to come together for one night and dance, or come together for one night and scream your lyrics like from your childhood, or like come together for one night and just like fucking, you know, let go. And it's nice. So I'd love to contribute to that. So I've been going to more DJ sets, and I would love to play some of them. Also a new thing, to kind of get off of social media, because it's quite addictive. Obviously, that's what it's designed for. But I was like, I'm spending too much time on it. I'm sure we could all admit that. But I was like, how do I ease off of this? Let me download a phone game instead. So that's what I did. And I decided to download the one and only phone game I've ever cared about. And that's going to be Bakery Story. Okay? So, Bakery Story is not sponsored. Just wanted to talk about it. I just wanted a very cutesy, low-stress game that I could play. And I'm like designing. I was like, oh, I'm going to design a little French bakery and serve and da-da-da-da-da. You know, because when your job's hard during the day, sometimes you're like, oh, I wish I worked in a little fucking bakery. Tell me why. So these recipes are like timed, right? So you like pay, you know, 1,000 coins, put it in the oven, and it's like come back in 10 hours to the app, and then like serve it. And if you don't serve it in time, it goes spoiled. So I wanted this cutesy cozy little game, and my boyfriend will hear me just be like, my fucking cakes, dude. My fucking cakes are ready. Where is my phone? Because I hear the ding, and I'm like, I need to get my fucking cakes. I don't want them to get spoiled. I spend so much money on them. I'm like saving up for this. There's all these like challenges, like daily challenges, fucking weekly shit, things to hit in the game just like to level you up. Like, I'm taking it so seriously. And then I also got Animal Restaurant, which is also not very, I thought it was going to be cutesy and calm. It can be if you want it to be more so, but I'll be like, I'm getting a rush, like not now, Phil. Like I'm going through a rush right now, a rush of customers. I have to serve them. Like I take it so seriously. Oh, I take it so fucking serious. So, whoops. Oopsie doo. What are you gonna do if I take my phone games too seriously? I think it has helped cut down a little bit on like my Instagram usage. Pinterest is like, I'm barely using it no more. But yeah, Instagram has gone down a bit, I think, because of it. But I'm also on my phone more, I feel like, because I'm like trying to time it and like trying to be on it. But yeah, I've been on Instagram less, at least in the very morning, because in the very morning I always have this is gonna sound so fucking lame. Before I go to bed, I set an 8-hour like recipe on, so that the first thing in the morning when I wake up, I serve it immediately, and then I put another thing on to like go throughout my day. So instead of checking Instagram immediately, I'm checking my fucking restaurant. I'm running a business. What do you bitches know about running a business? And did I serve my sugar cookies in the middle of the story so far? Yes. Not in the set. In between sets. Come on, girl. Okay, guys, I'm actually going to wrap it up here. I recorded for like an hour and a half this time, apparently, because I had a lot to say. So I'm going to split this into 2 podcast episodes. What's up? So look forward to this next one. I've been posting on a bi-weekly basis, so every other Sunday at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Maybe I'll keep to that. I mean, I have so far, like for a few months, but that's also because I've had this kind of like backlog of it, and now I have 2 more, so that's exciting. But yeah, this will be I don't know if it'll be a part 1 and part 2 or just like 2 separate podcasts, but I'm going to cut it here. And then next podcast is going to be a Tumblr tier list. So look forward to it. Okay. A few little plugs before I go. I have an Etsy, Blown Rose Studio. Go check out my stuff there. I like it. It's fun. I make it. I have my Instagram, Blown Rose Studio, and I post reels there and just like, finished projects there. So if you want to check out more of like my process, my finished projects, like all my finished projects, please go there. It's probably the best place. And then also my YouTube. And if you're just listening to the podcast I think I have it on Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Spotify, and maybe one more that I'm forgetting. That is going to be on YouTube. We have the video version of it, and I don't like to say that you have to watch the video version of it to understand what's going on. I hope you can still enjoy as a podcast, because I am a walking girly to my heart. I love to walk with a podcast on, and I hate when it has to be this visual element, but it is maybe it's kind of fun to watch me talk or to have these like sort of visual cues, because sometimes that just helps me understand what's going on with other people. So thank you so much for joining. Comment below what you are stitching along to this podcast, what your current projects, your current work in progresses are, what you are avoiding, any of that. Let me know what you're working on. I love to talk crafts. Let me know what your Spotify Wrapped fucking top 5 is. Let me know. Yeah, let me know any of that. Just talk to me. Love y'all. Bye. See you in 2 weeks.